Hello everybody, this is Cheri at djsundry.blogspot.com, and I am so excited to bring you the project that I am bringing you today. It's something that's kind of new to me. You may or may not know that, I can't remember if I told you, that I signed up for the online card making class with Christina Werner and Jennifer McGuire and a whole bunch of other people. And this particular class is called Watercoloring, or Watercolors for Card Makers or something like that. And I have learned so much from this class, and I have had a ball watching the videos, learning the techniques, and now I wanted to try some on my own. So I am going to show you a little set of cards. This set of cards is actually a set of cards that I did for a swap over at artandsassy.ning.com, and I am going to show you what I have done, and then at the end of the video you'll see the finished cards as well. And so let me just show you what I've done. The first thing is I needed some supplies. So I pulled out these sequins from, these are just Walmart brand sequins. And actually, we'll be finishing up the final card here on the video. But actually that was kind of the last thing I did, was pulling sequins. The first thing I did is find a stamp set. And the stamp set that I found for my base image was this Sunny Day stamp set. It's by Scrappy Cat. And I liked these floral images because I thought those would be really easy for a beginning watercolorer like myself. And so I started with those. I pulled some distress inks, and this is nowhere near all of the distress inks. I'll go over the distress inks particularly when we come to the cards, because I made a set of 4 mini cards. For the swap over at artandsassy.ning.com, we were supposed to make a set of 4 mini cards. Actually, we were supposed to make 2 sets, but this is just the first set I made. And they were supposed to have 4 different sentiments. They were supposed to be no bigger than 2, and you could go as much as 2 3/4, but the preferred size was 2.5 inch square, so teeny tiny cards. And they were one was supposed to be happy birthday, one was supposed to be thinking of you, one was just because, and then one was missing you, or one was missing you, or let's see, missing you or thinking of you, and then the last one was thank you. So I pulled a whole bunch of inks and got started. So I began by stamping my images onto my watercolor paper using this antique linen, so that it was a faint line so that I could do the painting over the top of them, and you wouldn't have that dark line coming through. Now I chose this time to actually paint with my distress inks and my distress markers, and I just use water with those. So I did the same stamped image, but I did each card in a different color. So this is the very first card, and of course it's purple, and I love it. The thank you is stamped in Memento Tuxedo Black. And then the colors that I used in this particular one, the inside is made with spice marmalade and mustard seed, and then the outside of the petals and things were made using Stormy Sky and Dusty Concord, and a combination of those to give me the different shadows and different colors. And then when I was all done, I just spattered paint on it, and then I cut it to fit. And this card, I of course lined the inside of the card because it's dark cardstock. And this, I believe, is just some paper tray ink. It was just a scrap I had. So that's the first one. This is the second one, which I love this color as well. Even though purple's my favorite color, I really like the vibrancy of this one. And for this one, use the same colors in the center, same color to stamp my image, but I actually used picked raspberry and then the Dusty Concord combination on this one. And it's just a vibrant pink color, and this paper is just some scrap again, coordination. When you're making such a tiny card, you can use up, this is a great way to use up scraps. And what better way to do gift enclosures with these cute little cards. And then I splattered, when it was all dry, I splattered some of the ink on around it. Now this one, you'll notice the placement of my sequins, and they're not quite dry, but I made a mistake when I stamped this, and the just saying hello, and I'm using this one for my just because, but just saying hello is just a tad bit crooked, so I tried to balance it off to pull the eye away from the fact that it was a little bit crooked. I positioned the sequence to kind of pull you away from that thought. So there is that one. And then the next one is this one. Again, the same colors in the middle, but the ink combination that I used on this one was Fired Brick and Barn Door Distress inks. This one doesn't have quite as many splatters, just the way splatters are a little bit unpredictable. I mean, you can try to predict them the best that you can, but they're a little bit unpredictable. And so the way they landed is up here. Now, you'll notice that the center of this card is a little bit smaller than the others, and that's just simply because where I had stamped my image, by the time I could trim it out to make it even around, it ended up being a little bit smaller. Otherwise, it was going to be lopsided because it was on the corner of the paper. So, you would never know if I hadn't pointed it out to you, or if you didn't see the rest of the set that's just a little bit bigger, but it still looks great. So then the very last one, and I have to say I'm really liking this blue, and I don't know where this paper came from. It may be a Recollections from the Spice Market pack, but I really don't know for sure. But this is the last one, and I had set it aside, and I hadn't realized that I had forgotten to glue down my sequins, so they went flying. So I'm just going to show you how I did that. I have my little pick here, and first I decided where I was going to put my sequins, and the way this one's being balanced out, I think I'm going to put 2 on the top instead of 2 on the bottom, like so, and this one down there somewhere. So I just put a little tiny dab of the Tombow Mono, and I'll just put a couple little dabs here. It doesn't take much because the sequins are so tiny. And then I just use this pick to help position the sequins where I want them to go. And I found that I tend to play with them too much, and because I play with them too much, then they end up sticking to my fingers if I don't use this pick. And so I have learned you just put it down and you let it go. Don't try to mess with it, just let it go. Now the colors I used on this one was were Salty Ocean and Peacock Feathers, and I blended those out. So there we have our 4 set of little tiny gift enclosure Thinking of You cards. Now, if you're interested, there's still time to join in this swap over at artandsassy.ning.com, and just head over there, and this is the mini card swap. It's hosted by Cheri, who is the site owner, and there's so many. I mean, the only real rules on this one is that it has to be embellished, and the size and the sayings. Other than that, it's pretty much anything goes. So be sure and check it out if you're interested, and in the meantime, remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.